So it's been around 2 months since my last video talking about Pokémon Sword and Shield. Since I uploaded it, the games have released, and everything I've seen since has left my opinion unchanged. At the time, I said there were good things in these games, but ultimately, due to its poor graphics and visuals, large amounts of cut content, and just overall poor presentation, I felt they were a disappointment for the Pokémon standard and chose not to buy them. On my previous video, you guys all left me so many comments all sharing your own experiences with the game. And while some of you did have positive ones, from my perspective, most comments were people telling me they agreed with me or bought the game and regretted it. And as far as I can honestly tell, the overall reception to Pokémon Sword and Shield has not been bad, but definitely underwhelming for most fans. I've heard many people say it's too short, there's basically no story, it's far too easy, and the post-game is way too short and borderline non-existent. This all comes from what people have told me and what I've read. As of today, I have still not played Pokémon Sword or Shield, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt very empty. Not in the way you'd think though. Not having the new Pokémon games when they're out and everyone's playing them has made me feel a bit left out. And although the pressure to give in and buy them has been there, I've stuck to my guns and still not bought them. But to be honest, I was overall okay with this. I told myself, it's okay. Maybe Diamond and Pearl remakes will be good, or maybe you can wait till next gen. Maybe Pokemon will just fix itself. But that all changed today. As of when I'm recording this, it's the 9th of January, and a Pokemon Direct happened earlier today. The Direct opened with Ishihara showing us a trailer for a new game. In said trailer, the first thing shown is text that reads 2006. This immediately made my heart skip a beat, as I thought it was finally time for Diamond and Pearl remakes. They were finally here. It wasn't a rumor, it wasn't a dream, it was reality. But moments later, I realized reality is often disappointing. Instead of the Diamond and Pearl remakes me and millions of others have asked for literally 14 years now, we got a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team remake for Nintendo Switch. Now, don't get me wrong though, I actually think this is perfectly fine. I don't hate this remake in the slightest. I think it's cool that it's being ported. I've never played the Mystery Dungeon games before, so I don't have a huge attachment, but I've always heard good things, so it's kind of exciting for me to finally be able to play them. The bigger point I'm trying to make though is that Game Freak still isn't understanding what we the fans want. We've literally been asking, begging, bothering, and hell even harassing them for Gen 4 remakes for years now. And then what happens? We get a direct right after the latest gen, and bam, no remakes. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, wait for E3 or another Pokemon Direct. I'm sure they'll come out next year or whatever. You just need to wait a little longer. And to that I say, I'm tired of waiting. 14 years is long enough, and at this rate we may not see them for 15 or 16. Frankly, it's just really disappointing. Now, I'm not going to attack Game Freak for this, but I'm certainly left with a bad taste in my mouth regarding my opinion of them. But regardless, that's not really what I'm here to talk about today, because what was revealed next changed everything. Again. So basically, Masuda and Omori are sitting down at a table and they're ready to tell us new information. Honestly, considering we literally just didn't get Diamond and Pearl remakes, and the fact that the Galar starters were plushies on the table, I had no idea what to expect. Whether it was a full reveal of Pokemon Home, sequel game / the third game to Galar, or maybe something new for Pokemon Go, I had no idea. I literally didn't know what to expect. So it kept on going, and they were talking about how they hoped we had been enjoying Pokemon Sword and Shield. And honestly, I still had no idea what to expect for a reveal. And then they pretty much straight up said it. An expansion pass is coming for Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it will have 2 DLC packs in it. The Isle of Armor pack and the Crown Tundra pack. They showed off quite a bit of footage of both packs, and additionally the thing that really caught my eye is that they're adding in 200 Pokemon from the national decks that were missing in the base Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, as far as I can tell, basically once the DLC is here, you'll be exploring a new island, region, or whatever, and you'll be doing little challenges with new characters, new mons, returning mons, and little extra stuff. How long will this be? I have no idea. It could be an hour long, could be 20 to 30. I really don't know, and I really don't want to critique it yet, because that would be totally unfair. But, I mean, first impressions are pretty good. I mean, it's cool that there's like a fighting dojo island to explore, and a snowy tundra place to walk around in, which seemingly will all have the missing legendary Pokemon. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it sounds and looks cool. They also showed off a few new Pokemon, those look nice. They also showed off a few new Gigantamax forms. I've already said how I'm not a big fan of Dynamax, but I admit these looked okay, and some of the new characters also looked okay as well. But let me cut to the chase now, because I kind of feel like I've been rambling too long here. Let me just put it straightforward. Pokemon now has DLC. And in the context of Pokemon Sword and Shield, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is really bad. I stand by all my original opinions of the base games, and from what I've read of honest reviews and opinions, Sword and Shield are not worth $60. I generally follow a mentality that any game I buy should at least give me the same amount of hours in playtime for the same amount of dollars I paid for it. And based off from what I've seen, it generally takes less than 25 hours to beat Pokemon Sword or Shield, and the post game is like 2 to 3 hours. So like maybe, and I'm being very generous here, maybe about 35 hours to see everything, maybe 40? That still feels like a very bad deal to me. $60 for a 30 to 40 hour game? And that's not including the fact that those 35 hours aren't even that fun. I mean, I've heard so many people say that Hop doesn't leave you the fuck alone and keeps talking and never leaves you, and he'll do so many tutorials. I mean, how much time on the average save file of Pokemon Sword and Shield do you think is just Hop? But that doesn't include the fact that the games are incredibly easy, the games have horrible graphics and animations, and are missing literally hundreds of Pokemon. And of course, there's no real story or anything to do except just keep playing till it's over. Now, I am aware that some people are going to get more playtime out of their game. I know some people love to spend time hatching eggs, looking for shinies or whatever, but not gonna lie, that doesn't really include me. I really love Pokemon games, but honestly, I just like to play through them, go through the post game, and maybe I'll spend a little more time working on my team, but that's about it. And I know there's a lot of people out there like me. And think about it, 35 hours of a meh experience for $60 is not good. So to recap, the games are lacking in value to say the absolute least. So how in the world can you possibly expect me to feel compelled to give Game Freak another $30, half the price of the base game, just to not even complete a lackluster title? I mean, seriously, everything they showed off, while it was cool, should have been in the base game. If this content was in the base game, I have no idea for sure, but maybe it would have taken like 50 hours to complete everything? Perhaps more, and that would have been a lot more fair for the price. And hey, it easily would have been the best post-game in recent memory. Would have been especially good to make up for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But it really does get worse when you realize how this is actually playing out. Listen to me for a second, alright? It's been less than 2 months since Sword and Shield released, with little content mind you, and now we're getting an elaborate DLC plan for 2020. No matter how you look at this, it's obvious that Game Freak clearly said, we're going to make Sword and Shield have little post-game so we can make an actual decent post-game and sell it for extra. And in addition to this, they're even patching in 200 extra Pokemon that you won't even be able to catch without paying. What happened to it being impossible like they said? I thought they said they were not going to patch in the other Mons. Didn't they say that? Didn't they say this wasn't possible to bring all the Pokemon in? But randomly 200 Pokemon are just coming? Let alone behind a paywall? What the hell, Game Freak? In Sun and Moon, you could have every single Pokemon in the game and it was only $40. Now they give us more than half the Mons gone for $60 and expect us to pay $30 more for only 200 extra? Now before you go and say, oh, you can just trade them over for free with the patch. That doesn't take away from the fact that Game Freak is still paywalling an entire aspect of the games. Compare it to Pokemon Heart Gold. You finish Johto, and then what? You go to Kanto and catch all the Mons you can dream of. Kanto Mons, Hoenn Mons, and even Sinnoh Mons. Let this soak in. You can fucking catch Latias, Latios, Mewtwo, Groudon, Kyogre, Rayquaza, the legendary birds. You can even get a Hoenn starter and so much more in fucking Kanto without paying a single cent more. You paid $40 for the game or whatever price it was back then, and then you get absolutely everything included and practically everything there even was at the time. And now, look at Pokemon Sword and Shield. More than half the national Dex Mons are gone, and you can't catch any of the older gen legendary Mons, and there's basically no post-game. To get only 200 of the missing Mons catchable, and to get a decent post-game, you have to pay $30 extra. That's half the price of the base game, $90 in total, $180 if you want to do it on both. And that's for an experience that still might be a bit lackluster. I mean, paying $30, I know I keep repeating it, but seriously think about it, paying $30 just to be able to do what I could a few years ago at no extra cost. I remember when I first played Soul Silver, I was playing it over the summer, and literally every single day of the post game was a new treat. I was finding new legendary mons, I was going and doing gym battles, I was talking to people, and every single time there was just so much to see and do. And now, to get something which I don't even know if will even be as good, costs $30 extra to an already $60 game. I'm just speechless, to be honest, at how desperate Game Freak is to get our money. So I think, to be honest, at this point you guys understand how I feel, so let me close off this video with two final things. One, I know someone is going to comment this, so I have to address it. Someone is going to say, oh, they couldn't have had this be in the base game because they want to get it out in time for Christmas, so they had no time, and now they're giving to us what was missing, so we should be happy, or whatever. Someone's going to comment something like that. But this very opinion admits that Sword and Shield was rushed. A rushed game never deserves the respect of a fully polished game. I don't care if Game Freak has to put it out before Christmas. I don't care if that would hurt sales. I don't care about anything in their schedules. If it's rushed, it's gonna be a rushed game, which means it's gonna have missing content, bugs, flaws, less value, whatever. And even if we just let this fly, let me tell you, there is absolutely no reason this DLC cannot be free. Game Freak is making hundreds, if not thousands of dollars at this very moment because Pokemon Sword and Shield has been one of the best-selling Pokemon games ever. It's even been one of the best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch. There is no reason they cannot develop a free update to add in the missing mons and a decent post-game at no additional cost to us the fans. There is just no reason outside of greed and trying to nickel and dime the very people who love their games. And before you go and say, oh, they'd never give away content for free, Mario Tennis Aces, Kirby Star Ally, Super Mario Odyssey, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe have all had updates that have given new content for free. There's just no excuse for Game Freak to charge money for this. This is all stuff that should be a part of the $60 price, so it should be for free. And now for my second and final point of this video. I think it's very important, and it's very important to just suck it up and say it, and I said this in my last video, and I meant it back then too, but for lack of a better word to say it, I mean it even more now. Game Freak is literally now EA. They've become a scummy company that only cares about money and will try to nickel and dime their fans. Mark my words. Mark them now. Pokemon Home will also be a money scam somehow. I'm not sure how, I have absolutely zero evidence to support this claim, but I know that it will be that way. That's just because I know this company now. And by the way, in case it isn't obvious, I hate saying all of this. I'm not hating on Game Freak just to be in the cool crowd or to spread negativity. I'm hating on them because they're ruining and have ruined my favorite gaming franchise. I said it last time and I'll say it again. Pokemon deserves so much better than this. This current route only looks like it's gonna get worse. If $90 is the new norm for possibly something still not even meeting the original standard, then what's going to be next? I honestly have no idea. But I have very little, to be completely honest, almost zero hope for the future of Pokemon at this point. As one final thing for this video, I suppose I should answer the question. Am I getting the DLC for Sword and Shield? Absolutely not. Especially considering that as of right now, I haven't even played Sword and Shield. I have no desire to give my money over to a company that only sees me as a source of income. I know that sounds harsh, but it's so clear at this point, and once again, I really hate that things have come to this. So that pretty much wraps up this video. Thanks for listening as usual. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about this, and if you disagreed with me on anything, that's totally fine. Feel free to let me know in the comments. I'll be reading all comments, so yeah. But for me, this is a sad day for Pokemon, and I really, really hope that one day we'll finally get the Diamond and Pearl remakes, or another gen, and that Pokemon will be great again. I really hope, but I don't know. But thanks for listening, guys. This is DeWarioFreak signing off. Have a great day.